Everyone feels overwhelmed when it comes to content. You've done loads already. Just repurpose it. Just put it back in again.
Is this a rumour or is this a truth? Which loads of people ask.
You should be utilising that 100%.
That's the answer I was looking for, to be honest.
You should do more of this type of content.
That felt a lot easier.
If you can emulate that and you get 20 comments a week, boom.
This happened to me. I'm really scared. I don't know where to turn. Being able to engage with that, it's really special.
What's the weirdest or funniest comment you've ever received on social media? This was your reply, Alex. People oversharing about their sex life. Of which I've then put in brackets, content. That is clearly the type of content that people are engaged with. Well, let's do more of that. If you've closed that group, they can't advocate for you, can they?
No.
What a shame. You're stopping yourself build a community.
I don't want to, like you say, cut people out.
You don't do the selling then. Your past clients do it for you.
Food for thought. I like that one.
You're running way too many ads at £300 a month. I would probably only have one going. You're asking Meta to send out 7 ads. That's £1.50-ish.
Which is nothing.
Which won't even get you to 1,000 impressions.
I am really glad that today's the day we decided to do this.
Can I be really honest?
Go for it.
Nonsense. Those two and that one, utter nonsense. They're not going to engage anyone at all.
This room does get really hard. I don't know whether it's the room or whether it's just me.
You're in a month's time going to go, where's my 300 quid gone, plus what I'm paying you, how many leads have I got? And they're going to go 0. They're not going to get you the results that you deserve and you need to be able to keep running and funding this business. You're the one that's going to hook the bill for it.
You're right, it is my business and everything that goes out is a reflection of me.
I just want it to work for you, and this isn't, you're going to be spending a lot of money.
Glad you start the podcast off softly and we've just kind of built up into being totally brutally honest.
I don't want you to fail. No agency should have took you on at £300 a month.
Do I go home and pause all of these so I don't waste my money?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I wouldn't wait until I got home.
Thanks.
Welcome to In the Comments. Alex, thank you for coming on. You have filled in our application form.
I have.
So, my first 3 questions are, who are you, what do you do, and why are you here?
I'm Alex. I'm the founder of Lunaire, which is an organisation all around women's health and gynecological conditions specifically. And I'm here because I know that social is a massive part of the business. It's really important, but I'd love to try and have a bit of a healthier relationship with it if I can.
When did you start the business?
So the business was started in April 2024. It was actually under a different name. And it's only in October through to December that we did a massive repositioning, rebranding, went back to the foundations and really kind of thought about who we are and what we want to do. So Lunaire is even newer.
Okay. So what got you into this? Tell me a bit more about actually what you do. Obviously, I've read your application form, but for people that don't have any idea about women's health, what is it you guys touch on and what do you speak about?
So gynecological conditions are things like endometriosis, PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, PMDD, PMS. It's basically every condition that women can live with and suffer with if things aren't quite right. So it tends to be hormonal imbalances. I live with endometriosis. So I was diagnosed at 18. So 10 years I've had it. So it feels like a lot longer and also feels like it could only be like a year ago. And I know how complicated the medical system is, how bad the healthcare system is, and also how difficult the condition to live with is. So there's a lot that's wrong with it. There's a lot that women don't know about that they can do to really help themselves. And I basically was in a position in between careers. I could continue going corporate or I could make a massive change. And I retrained and decided that this is something that I wanted to do. I was thinking, give it like 10, 15, 20 years, like late 30s, early 40s, I'll probably have a go at my own business. Circumstances changed massively. And I thought, why not? Why now? Why not now even?
Brilliant. So what is it you do? So would we class this as coaching?
Yeah, coaching.
Okay.
So one-to-one coaching. So sit down with a client, someone that's living with one of these conditions, or actually, interestingly, a lot of women I work with have not got a diagnosis yet because it takes 9 years on average, 7 to 9 years, which is horrendous. It was 7 years when I was going through my diagnosis process, and it's now jumped up to 9, given what's happened the past few years with COVID and all the rest of it, which is horrendous. So a lot of them have textbook kind of symptoms of the condition, but they're just waiting to go through the various systems and boxes that you have to tick. So it's one-to-one, and then group coaching, which is online. So that's more, you want the coaching. One-to-one maybe feels a bit intense, a bit kind of too intimate. and you'd like to be in a supportive community group situation. So same content, same lessons, same coaching techniques, just a different format.
Why does it take so long to get, what's the word?
Diagnosis.
Diagnosed, that's the word, thank you.
Yeah, great question. There's a lot of different reasons. You might have heard about a paper that came out from the Women's Inequalities Committee not too long ago.
I didn't, I'm afraid.
That's okay. There's a lot. Wow, it was one of the many things on LBC they talk about, but it did get us a lot a few weeks ago. And there's been a massive paper into the NHS and the healthcare system and how it works. And they were discussing about the fact that they found medical misogyny, gaslighting, misdiagnosis, all sorts of things in the healthcare system, specifically around women that have gynecological conditions. So that's the first part of the answer. It's the system itself. It's how the NHS runs. It's how the diagnosis kind of process goes. It's how complex the conditions are, because a lot of the symptoms that you get for one or multiple of these conditions could be a whole different array of things. So to be fair to the consultants and the GPs and all the people in that system, it isn't easy to diagnose, but it's made even harder when potentially the system and sometimes the people in the system feel like they're fighting against the patients, and that's a really massive problem.
I've got a big issue with the NHS, but I'm not going to go there. The one thing
we have that in common.
Well, the one thing I think I spoke about this before about the NHS, which is I can't fathom why if I go into Bath Hospital, they can't. We all have a national insurance number here in the UK, okay?
Yeah.
So it gets given to you at birth. You get a national insurance number. That is a unique identifier for every single person in the UK. Why not have a centralised system, and I could go to Bognor Regis or Bath or Leamington or Warwick or wherever in the UK, and they can just pop and go, oh, James, you've broken your leg when you were 4, because it's on one system. I can't fathom as to why that isn't, like, it's just a CRM system. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, but we're going off at a massive tangent
Well,
now.
just quickly on that point, a family connection that I have used to work in an NHS based in Northampton, and she told me that there are two, maybe more hospitals in Northampton, but between one hospital a few miles away from the other, they have completely different software systems.
Yeah.
I mean, completely different. So they have no way to communicate with each other, and they're in the same town.
A friend of mine is a doctor who's now moved to Australia, and he just in comparison, it's chalk and cheese. You know, it is. You know, I know. Everyone says the NHS needs to be revitalised, which it does. The problem is the people that are running it and the people that are investing the money that we as taxpayers give in is an absolute shambles. But I'm not going to go there because this isn't a podcast about the NHS. That is about something else. So we've read your application form, and obviously, like you said, you want to get more from social media.
Yeah.
Your service and your product, you are perfect for social.
Okay.
Because that's where your audience is.
Yeah.
As you said, there's clearly huge waiting times for diagnosis. People might not understand what it is that they're looking for. And again, you fill that gap. And I know there's quite a few people in your space that are pushing out this content. So it's perfect for you. And people are engaging with it, even with the numbers that you're getting, although there are hundreds and thousands, they're still actually very good, which we'll go on to. Okay. My first question in terms of content, and again, looking at application form, which is around the overwhelmingness of social. And I know you put in there like, it's maybe too much. I've got, it's too much to do. What's overwhelming about it?
It's a really good question. I think as time's gone on, it's become less overwhelming. It still probably feels it because it's just not my favourite thing to do. But it has felt less because I think when you start to maybe try to implement like schedules or time blocking to do certain bits of social media, or have a bit of a plan around maybe your content and how to reuse it or whatever, I've experimented with different variations of that. Haven't found the system I really like yet, but I've tried different things, and that does take the overwhelm away. I think, totally honestly, it's that moment when I sit down on a Monday morning and I think, I've got to sit in front of my phone and record however many videos. And it's that pressure that you put on yourself to be like, what am I saying? Like, us talking now there are cameras. It is kind of performative, but it's not, because it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
And I could talk for hours to somebody else about all of this without even thinking about it. The minute that phone goes in front of me, I'm suddenly like, I don't know anything about what I'm doing. Why am I running this business? What am I even talking about? And brain just collapses.
Yeah, to be fair, it sounded like me last Tuesday in front of a camera, but I get that. I think one of the other reasons you might feel overwhelmed is because of the volume of platforms you're on. So you're across every platform, apart from YouTube, which I still think there's a case to be said for that maybe later on. But you're across every single platform. And when you look at, for example, like your Instagram, you've got very different types of content. You've got your carousels and your statics, but you're also doing a lot of the reels. When I looked at your all your content, I think you can do batch content days or weeks.
Okay.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong here, the questions that you get asked are probably the same question you'll get asked in 10 years' time, right?
Yeah,
Give or
I'd say
take.
so. Very similar. Yeah, definitely.
And these are the industries that I love working in, because if you're, let's say, a family litigator, the same questions you get asked 20 years ago will be the same in 20 years' time. So it doesn't matter. The answer is still the same.
Yeah.
So you can just regurgitate that content. And without putting it on us too much, Mike and I create a lot of content. And we use...
Post Planner.
I always forget the name of it, always. And you've got some brilliant scheduling tools out there like Hootsuite and Buffer and these other ones. But what we really liked about Post Planner is that you can bucket content. So what you can do is you can put a load of content into a bucket and it'll feed out of that bucket into a certain platform. Let's say it's Instagram, TikTok Reels. But when that bucket then is empty, you can put all that content that's gone out into the bucket again and say, okay, rather than having one a day, I'm going to have 3 a day because I've got so much content. And we've got now content going out till maybe the end of July, and we won't touch it because the questions that we get asked are the exact same.
Yeah.
Every single day. So it won't change. Obviously, we'll add to it because we're doing new stuff like with yourself and people, but nothing will ever change in terms of questions.
Okay.
So I think for what you're doing is maybe do these, maybe it's a week, right? I'm going to do 4 hours a day. It seems quite intense. But how much could you do in a day? 4 hours a day for a week and just batch content and just have, obviously ChatGPT is fantastic now. Write all the questions that you get asked and just maybe have different ways of it asking in terms of answering that question and just fly through them. And then you can just batch content them out. Maybe change some of the headlines and the hooks. But you're out then. It's not as overwhelming as because the worst thing is with content is coming on a Monday and not having anything banked. And you're like, especially if you're not in the mood.
Yeah, it's exactly what my Monday looks like. I'm like, oh my God, I've just had the weekend. It's Monday morning. I need to turn my brain back on again. Think of some really interesting content that people are going to engage with. Go.
It's hard. This morning, you'll see on my videos, Michael, because we're vlogging our road to 1,000 users at the moment for our new platform. And I can't be asked to do anything this morning. I woke up, my kids were all over the place. I've got a LinkedIn Live to at 11. I'm just like, you'll see the video, Mark. I'm just like, I'd just rather go to bed, just chill out. Obviously, I can't. But yeah, if you've got nothing banked, it's the worst thing in the world because you've got to be consistent.
Yeah.
And the platforms like the consistency, although some people say, no, they don't. They do. It's just the nature of the beast. They like that consistency, especially if you're across all your channels, all those different channels. Obviously, you've seen Instagram Reels be your best performing. Would you say that's right?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's
that and TikTok, I think.
I think between Instagram and TikTok. The ones that go on TikTok go on Instagram. Perfect. So that has made life easier. That took me a while to realise that, but actually seeing as it looks exactly the same, I might as well just use it across both channels.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
We literally batch it out, use CapCut, which is good.
Yeah.
Have you used something called Opus?
No, I haven't heard of Opus.
Put it on the crib sheet. We should get a commission for Opus. It's the best thing in the world. It's the best editing.
Okay.
It does it all for you. Puts the headlines in, the captions, the lot.
No way.
Oh, unbelievable.
Oh, I thought CapCut was good.
Oh, this Opus is different level.
Okay.
As we do long form podcasts, you just put the whole podcast in there and it will just pull all your clips for you.
Well, that's good to know for the future because I'm going to need that for a podcast. So that is good to know.
So it's very good. So yeah, so in terms of the overwhelming, I think if you were to be able to batch content or repurpose, so you've got, I've looked at your feed, you've got loads of content.
Yeah.
Why aren't you just putting it back in again?
Yeah, it's that you think to yourself oh, someone's seen that, so you can't reuse it. But yeah, they probably haven't paid attention, or they haven't. Well, they certainly won't remember, will they?
We won't remember. If I said to you, "Tell me the last TV advert you saw,"
yeah, couldn't tell you.
You couldn't tell you, but you'll go on again. It's that repetitiveness. You've just got to answer those questions every time. So I would, my biggest recommendation for you in terms of, because I read the application, I thought, I get it. Everyone feels overwhelmed when it comes to content. But the fact that you've done loads already, just repurpose it. Just put it back in again.
Yeah.
Do you use a scheduling platform?
No, I haven't. And this is this a rumor or is this the truth? It's such a question that I'm sure loads of people ask. I've thought about using schedulers and then spoken to various different people, and everyone's got a different opinion about, does it push your content less? Does it have an effect? Does it not matter too much? So that's my question to you.
When I look at the data and across all the clients, my previous clients, you could say it does it a little bit.
Okay.
Not enough for... The problem is, it's like some social media guru online will go, it'll clickbait. Don't use these. Oh, what? So I'm just going to sit there every day and post it. Don't talk nonsense. It's not going to happen, isn't it? So there is a slight difference.
Okay.
But on the data pools that I was looking at, the industries weren't massive anyway. So they weren't viral businesses. So you could say it was just bad content that didn't resonate. For someone like yourself, you should be utilising that 100%. Okay. Like, unless you've got a big team around you.
Yeah. Just
use these scheduling tools. They're fantastic. We use them. We don't get loads of views, but we get the right views. I think that's where
the ease of using it doesn't outweigh how much the reach might be reduced.
Yeah, like we'll get on our, it's pretty similar to you. We'll average about between 900 and 1100 views on our TikTok on pretty much every single video we do.
Yeah.
It's great. We do 3 of those a day. That's 3,000 people have seen our content every single day. Yeah. Amazing. That's a lot of people. Yeah. Don't get over, the problem is it's the comparisons, the fee for joy. You look at these massive accounts, probably people in your market, and you go, I'd love 1 million views. Well, yeah, but, 500,000 of them might be blokes, and it's just some girl that's talking about it, but she's half naked, and look, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's the truth, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't know who's looking. It's a big number, but you don't know who makes up that big number.
I have no idea. The only thing you need to focus on is actually how many of them coming into your ecosystem when it comes to how many people are booking onto your course or building, coming into your community. That's the figure.
Yeah.
But definitely in terms of the overwhelmness, the social scheduling tools like a Post Planner where, again, you can bucket all that content and literally just go, okay, great, we've come to our end, repurpose it and go again.
Yeah.
You'll have like 4 a day soon because you do so much of it, which is amazing.
Okay, well, that sounds like a good amount to hear, and that's the answer I was looking for, to be honest, in terms of the using a scheduler. It is going to make life easier, and for, like you say, the small potential indent, it's not worth worrying about.
It's tiny, and also now that you're running paid, which we will go on to, it's going to help that as well, because when you're running paid media, having the organic presence as well, not so much the presence, just the consistency of it, especially a lot of it, the algorithm likes it.
Yeah.
So many people forget with social is the number one rule as us as marketers or business owners or brand owners is we need to keep people engaged on the platform. So although we have an objective, which might be conversions or lead generation, if we're not keeping people and users engaged, the platform will not show your content.
Yeah.
So from organic, it won't put it out there further. From a paid perspective, your CPMs will increase. So I'm hoping, and obviously you're running paid, which we'll go on to, but let's say your CPM is 15 quid. So that's over 15 pounds for every 1,000 people it puts in front of. If you're really engaging an audience, it'll reduce, which means your cost per acquisition decreases, which is perfect, which is what we want.
Yeah.
The brands that aren't doing that, CPM increases in rise, and then they'll go, oh, paid social didn't work for me. It's not that it can't. It just means you're not engaged in the platform.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It seems simple, but so many advertisers forget about that. And they're so focused on us or the brand. And then you're like, well, it's not engaging the user.
Yeah.
But we'll go on to that because I've seen your ads. So we'll go there. I want to go on to TikTok sligely because I love your TikTok. It's really, really good.
Thank you.
It is engaging. I've got it. I'm not ready. There you go.
You're prepared.
I'm really prepared. I think it's great. My question is, you should do more of this type of content. Oh, sorry, Michael. You're so prepared. He's never like this. So this one, no, that one there. That one is amazing. And I'll tell you why it's amazing. You've not had to think. Because someone's asking you a question and you've just gone, I'm just going to reply. It's the best content in the world. because we don't have to think. So when you was talking about being overwhelmed, if you had 20 comments a week, and you just sat there and went, reply, it's just like a consulting call.
I was about to say, but that is what I do and what I love to do, which is just talking to clients and just helping them. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That felt a lot easier to do that one. That,
if you can emulate that and you get 20 comments a week, boom. All over the place, because you don't have to think, do you?
No.
Like the thing with this this podcast is that so many people get overwhelmed with social, and I don't know what to do, and it's like, well, the stuff that when you don't have to think, your content is amazing. When you have to think about it, you then overthink, you then umming and all the rest of it. Whereas you replying to that question, you'd have listened to it and you'd gone, boom, I know what to say.
Yeah.
And people want to get involved then, because they think, if you're answering people's comments, then, I've got a question, so I'll ask.
There's a guy called Suave Owl, and write this down actually. Suave. He's a business owner in Bath that has this is totally off topic in terms of tangent, in terms of industry.
Go for it, why not?
But he owns a menswear shop in Bath, and he's basically just failing completely. No one's coming into his shop, he's buying stuff. But all he does is comment and reply to the comments on his thing. It's brilliant. It's really well done, but he sits there, he doesn't even have to think. He creates so much content, and I have to just give it to him. Like, you are the perfect example of how to use social. You're engaging an audience, because although it's great content for you, someone's asked you a question and they're getting a genuine answer that you want. You're engaging an audience and a community.
Yeah.
Amazing. So few people are doing that. Most brands will neglect comments.
Yeah.
Rupert, our new brand, it's a social media assistant, so it helps monitor your comments.
Yeah.
You're not. You're doing exactly what the algorithm wants you to do, which is engaging an audience and keeping them engaged. Amazing.
And on a really personal level as well, that is the whole point. Again, when I had all the kind of piece of advice of like, get on TikTok, make sure you're on TikTok. And to be fair, I think my audience and the women that I work with, that 18 to 35 bracket, they are on TikTok. So when I had that advice, and I thought, right, okay, just try it and see what happens, and try not to get too addicted in your own personal time.
It's bad, isn't it?
It is bad. It's scarily dangerous. But yeah, that personal enjoyment after getting over myself and having to just do the videos and whatever it might be, when you see people asking questions or saying, oh my God, this happened to me, I'm really scared, or my doctor's completely ignored me, I don't know where to turn, being able to engage with that it's really special as like a coach. And from my own experience, I had a woman, I'm really hoping to do it now, she told me to, but I had a woman comment on one of my TikToks a few days ago. I can't remember what it was about, but she asked for advice and I'd given her some in the comments. Next time I'll actually do a video on it. And she came back to me and said, I followed your advice in this video and I've just got X, Y, and Z, which was like a diagnostic surgery, a diagnosis, like an absolutely huge breakthrough. And she'd been stuck for about 7 years of people just telling her that she was making it up.
Why is that in the comments?
I know. I'm wondering that now that I've just said it to you. I know. I can see your face. It's not going to be in the comments for long, I promise.
No, it's obscene. The problem is, I get it, it's hard, and it's that overwhelm. But you've got so much content, and what's amazing is that one that Michael had up a second ago is people. I enjoyed that content more than I would just someone to camera talking. Like there's real authenticity about that.
Yeah.
Opposed to just, here's a question, I'm answering. Although that's great, someone's actually gone out of the way, but you should be, again, that's a story you need to tell. You need to literally, that should be the first thing you do.
And I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave today. That's the last thing that I'll do.
Absolutely, that should be done. I've got a question when it comes to comments. So on your application form, you did write something that you know I'm going this.
Yes, I do know.
So you put here, what's the weirdest or funniest comment you've ever received on social media? Now, what's interesting with this is all the applications we've received so far have been pretty dull. Oh, nothing, or, customer service questions.
Yeah.
This was your reply, Alex. People oversharing about their sex life. Of which I've then put in brackets, content. So I'd love you to elaborate.
Yeah, I feel like I need to, because that's not a good place to end, is it? Like, end of the podcast. Thanks very much. Bye. So you'll see things that's up on TikTok. One of my first ever videos, again, thinking of those questions and those real concerns and things that people are too scared to Google because they just feel weird asking those questions. One of the many symptoms of endometriosis is that sex can be really painful because it's like having a blister growing on your reproductive system. So if that is all over your reproductive system and they then like shed and bleed and blood being in place in the body where it's not meant to be, it's really painful. So that's a question that a lot of girls get really, really worried about and really scared of asking. So I thought, okay, it's a good video. I had no idea it'd be that popular, so I was quite pleased with that. 178k. So I was quite happy with that one. But I had a lot of questions on that video saying, this is really painful, this is awful, I didn't realise this wasn't normal. So a lot of really helpful people. But then some people have decided that they would clearly just like to try and put some really weird things on there about certain, like using certain sex toys or certain like sex positions, or clearly things that are potentially made up that I just thought, I'm not sure I'm going to reply to that because it's not my area of expertise.
Can I be a fly in the ointment? I would be absolutely responding to those in video form.
Okay.
100%. So if you scroll up, like, see all these responses you've done, which are amazing. Mm-hmm. I would be replying to those in video form.
Okay.
100. Again, these are people that have reached out. You've got so wow to get a video that's done nearly 200k.
Yeah. What
I would say in terms of reverse engineering that is that is clearly a type of content that people are engaged with.
Yes.
Well, let's do more of that.
Yeah.
So if you look at your total market size, and I'll sort of come on to the commercials now. So how big is your market in the UK? Do you know?
That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head. It's somewhere on my laptop, but it is, 1 in 10 women have endometriosis. 1 in 5 have PCOS.
Okay, so 10% of the UK women, population of women in the UK have that issue.
Yeah.
So let's say that's 400,000, give or take.
Yeah.
How many of those will experience pain during intercourse?
I would say definitely over 50%, potentially between 50 and 70%.
Okay, so let's work off 50%. That's 200,000.
Yeah.
So 200,000, weirdly, that sort of sits in the figure, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
So if you look at your market then is 200,000. Mm-hmm. Well, how many of those do you need to have a really good business but also help people?
Not 200,000. A small portion of that would be great.
Exactly. So, and this is why it sort of goes on to the numbers now, is because, again, it's amazing you've got a huge audience on that one video. But again, it's this trickling down, like, this one with 506. I'm sure if I said to you, if you had 506 clients in your community and paying you monthly, you'd be well happy with that, wouldn't you?
Really happy.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's okay, fine we're getting these videos, but let's really hunker down in terms of some of those sort of our ICPs. And if we know that 50% of the entirety of the market has an issue with painful intercourse, well, let's create more content on that.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to get those same views, what's going to happen is a proportion of that 178,000 will start seeing this other content.
Yeah.
A good example of this is the carnivore diet. I'm sure you may have...
I do know about the carnivore diet, yeah.
Okay. So a friend of mine did it last year, stripped loads of weight, and I was like, I've got a bit podgy. So I need to strip a bit. So I was like, I'm going to try it. Mm-hmm. You know what the TikTok algorithm is like.
Of course.
Boom. But it was amazing. So I've weaned off it a bit now. I just sort of eat veg and stuff. But I did it for an entire month. It was incredible. Worked. I've shredded so much weight. It's unbelievable.
Okay.
I'm not huge anyway. But I'm now getting, I engaged with one video with this guy. I've then seen every single one of his videos, every single one of them. But I'm engaged with them now. So it's like how to make bread with cottage cheese and eggs, and opposed to just going up, really cool stuff. And I'm now making this bread. I'll remember it for the rest of my life because of that one TikTok video. Yeah, it's amazing. But because I've engaged with that sort of that viral content, I'm now into the algorithm and just picking it all up. So that is your sort of top of funnel. All this other stuff is your bottom of funnel. When you next start looking at TikTok, which you will do tonight because you're obsessed, have a look at the dates on some of the content. And you'd be really interested to see how old some of the content is. But because you're interested in it, it's serving you again.
Oh, you mean in like your For You page and stuff?
Yeah.
Like how old the videos are?
Honestly, it's bizarre. Like I was doing it the last couple of weeks, and some of it's from like early last year. And I'm like, this is... So again, but you need more content. to be
Yes.
keep pushing out. So again, in terms of that repurposing,
Yeah.
if you're going to just put them into buckets and repurpose it every time,
Yeah.
again, as long as you've got some hero content and viral content that's going out, again, if you use painful intercourse as that hero type piece, all this other stuff, the people that engage with it are going to start feeding in. So actually, you'll see some of these numbers start increasing. Like we've had one video, Michael, you wouldn't have spotted it, on one of our TikTok account. Over the last few weeks, it's gone up to like 10,000 odd views, but it was only on 500.
Oh.
But it's because some of our other stuff's done well, and it's just obviously they've engaged and they've gone and the rest of it. So don't think that once it's gone, it's totally dead.
Yeah.
In the vast majority of cases, it has. But again, if someone's really engaging with your piece of content, again, they'll start seeing the other stuff as well.
That was that video, actually. That went out, didn't really do a huge amount, and it wasn't until a few months down the line that it started gaining momentum, and then it just kept going. But it was quiet for a long time afterwards, so obviously you just think like, okay,
yeah,
that's gone out.
But I would follow up on that. I would do a follow-up.
Well, just when you clicked on it, and I was like, oh god, there's 80 comments on there. That could have been 80 videos.
Perfect though, isn't it? One after the other.
Talking about that bucket, it just makes you think, oh, that's 80 that I just wouldn't have to worry about then. I could just keep using.
It's done.
Yeah.
So easy.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's time, isn't it? Okay, so that's the oversharing of sex life. Yeah. I'm glad we got that sorted.
Yeah.
I would say if that's going to attract and get you through the noise, use it as a bullet hole in. Once you're in, then the rest of your content will be served.
Okay.
So I would just try and use that. Yeah. Although it's not, some would say, oh, it's crass, it's rubbish. Forget that. You've got a business to run, you need customers and a community to build.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I would just use that painful intercourse as your hero. Because clearly it's worked really well.
Yeah.
Really, really well. And I would try it on TikTok as well. Instagram Reels. I'd try and repurpose it and see if it gets the same.
See what happens.
I would actually pull that from that one and see if it emulates the same.
Okay.
So there you go.
I can let you know.
So that's TikTok. Happy with that. In terms of your commercial goals, so obviously, again, you're running a business like we all are. How are you structured commercially? So obviously you said about the group calls, the one-on-one calls. Yeah. How does that look? How does it work at the moment? Do they book in? Are they part of like a Facebook group? How does that all work?
Yeah, so one-to-one, there are free consultations for anyone that is interested. So that could be whether you know that you're interested in one-on-one or group coaching. Come and have a half an hour conversation with me. It is really important as a coach that you get to know me and you can see whether my kind of coaching and the way that I run the programs is right for you and you get that gut instinct. I'm always talking about to clients about gut instinct. If I'm right, great, let's work together. But it's equally important that you know if I'm not right for you because this is your health. It's really important. So free consultation for everyone. And then we then kind of go into like two separate systems of you then can book on to do one-to-one coaching, and then we start booking in sessions. We have scheduled times and we kind of go through the agreements of the client and all the rest of it. Group coaching, you can book straight onto it if you want to, or if you've had that one-to-one consultation, you think actually one-to-one's too intense, so I'll go to group. Again, that's kind of a different process, but it's easily to go onto a link, fill out your information, and then you'll join and you'll get put into a Facebook group. And that's where we'll base the monthly program and all the content will go in. We might jump onto like Zooms or have guest speakers and lives and Q&As and things, but it is based on Facebook in terms of a platform.
Nice. Have you heard of something called School?
No.
SKOOL.
Oh, very cool.
Okay. Yeah, I wish it was mine. It's not. School, if you can put this on the crib sheet. A lot of people are moving away from Facebook groups because you're quite limited what you can do with it, although they're great. School is where you can house communities now. And it's owned by Alex Hormozy. You might have come across him before.
Okay.
It's become really big really quickly. And a lot of people are jumping on it. You can do so much stuff on there. Cool. When I was reading your stuff, I thought, actually there could be a way of potentially, obviously you need to go and do some research and see if it's right for you, but it's there you go. But it's a very people are moving away, like I said, because you're quite limited with what you can do.
Yeah.
You can house podcasts on here, You could record all your one-to-one sessions and put them in a classroom, for example. There's loads you can do with it.
People can pay for your like course and stuff on here.
They can pay it all through there. So rather than having something over here and something over there, they've sort of put it all into one.
Yeah.
And again, when I was reading your application and looking at your stuff, I was thinking actually school could be a good option. So yeah,
Definitely.
I'd have a look at that. I think it's really cheap. It's like 70 quid a month, so it's not a lot of money at all. It's really cheap.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd sort of go away and do a bit of research and see if obviously before you scale that is maybe better suited than Facebook groups, but I understand Facebook groups are still very powerful and they're very, very good.
Okay, I'll have a look.
So have a look.
Thank you.
Yeah. In terms of so is it a monthly? So the one-to-one, are they on a monthly subscription?
One-to-one is a kind of a whole package amount.
Okay.
So you can pay that in installments or you can pay that in one go. It just depends on what the person prefers to do.
Is it for a length of time?
Yes, we've got 3 different packages. So there is the longest, which is 18 weeks. We've got 12 weeks, and then we've got 6 weeks. So 18 weeks tends to be for ladies that come to me that have got probably very complicated symptoms that haven't yet got a diagnosis, or maybe do have a diagnosis, could have multiple, or just have a lot of things going on in their life, and we need the time to really dig deep into every single thing that's going on so we can then work on them together. 12 tends to be around, it could be for anyone, but we tend to be around surgery, so it can be we kind of frame it around a bit before surgery, and we do a bit of prep with you to make sure that your recovery is going to be really good. The surgery happens, then once that initial recovery is over, we kind of do the latter end of the program. And then the 6 weeks is for ladies that potentially have symptoms or might not actually have a diagnosis, or kind of looking for a condition or kind of going through that investigation. They're just not feeling great and they just want to reset everything and really actually understand how their body really works, because not many women get taught how their body actually works, especially when you talk about like sex education at school and things. It's pretty appalling. So yeah, that is the 3 one-to-one packages.
And then the group, is that a monthly subscription?
That's a one-off payment for the whole month. So you just pay £75 to join, and that is your month program.
So after the 4 weeks, they're out?
Yeah.
Okay. So your sales ladder is group coaching at £75, and then hopefully they then go on to a 10, 12 or 18 week program.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you got anything longer term in terms of the group program, or is that the Facebook group in terms of the community?
No, Joe, it's an interesting question. So when I was kind of working with this idea, it's like to do the group coaching, some of the advice I got actually was to do the group coaching and kind of have that kind of warming up colder clients that don't really know you at all, so they get a taste for what coaching is and how you work and what you do, and then to actually deliberately close the group at the end and say, you know, join if you want to continue to join the community. Obviously follow us on socials and be part of that. And then also there's one-to-one programs which are more of an investment, and that's when you can continue to work with me. So it's an interesting question because no is the short answer.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of people becoming your brand advocates. So let's say someone's had a really good experience with you.
Yeah.
And you've obviously got them diagnosed and all the rest of it, and they're literally loving Alex. Yeah, they're like, God, amazing. Statue outside the house, all sorts. If you've closed that group, they can't advocate for you, can they?
No.
What a shame.
Yeah.
What a shame.
Yeah.
So I sort of understand it in terms of like a fear of missing out. Oh, I've got to go somewhere next.
Yeah,
but
kind of like a funnel type thing.
Really, what you're doing is you're stopping yourself build a community. Because after that 4 weeks, they've just disappeared.
Yeah.
They'll probably be in your email funnel or they'll be somewhere. But
yeah,
apart from following you on social, they can't interact with you unless they pay. I think you might be missing a huge trick in terms of building that community.
Okay.
You can shout. You could say, James, you're talking up to the nonsense.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to say that at all. It's a really interesting point. It's not actually something that I'm like absolutely not against that at all. I think I'm kind of open to both. I think it was you kind of get advice when you first kind of get the idea, but definitely open to both. I don't want to, like you say, cut people out, because the whole point of what I'm doing is to have that community, to make sure that a lot of these ladies who loneliness is one of the biggest things don't feel alone. So if something that we're offering as a service is almost doing that to them, that's very counterintuitive. So yeah, how do you? Are you going to tell me ideas of how you open, or is it just an open thought?
No. It's I again. you're trying to build a community.
Yeah.
And I was hoping you'd say, no, this was just a Facebook group and it just continues forever, which is amazing because more people can advocate for you. It's free advertising. You don't need to sell the dream. They already tell your new prospects that you're amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's such a shame that you're closing them off. I would have, in terms of your sales ladder, again, it's a typical sort of sales coach, coaching sales ladder, which is, you have a free community where, again, people can really talk about their issues, really an open door policy, as it were, and, chat amongst themselves. But what they're doing is, even if it's a small subscription to be in something like school, for example, where they're paying £4.99 a month.
Yeah.
But they're around, women who have been there or going through it. They're at different stages of their diagnosis.
Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely incredible. And then you could do like a drop-in clinic every week, which is like, guys, I'm free for an hour. If they really like what they see, they're then going to book on for you one-to-one to your thing.
That's a very good point.
I'm a big believer of just give as much as possible.
Yeah.
If you're good enough, they'll come.
Yeah.
It might take a little bit longer because obviously at the moment what you're saying is that you've got to spend £75 to get onto a group session with me. Mm-hmm. 75 quid is a lot of money.
It is.
I don't know this lady from Adam, and or another woman's name, and I'm going to have to, where do I go? There's only so much your landing page can say. Obviously, I can see your TikTok and all the rest of it, but do I do that? Whereas if you're part of a group, you don't do the selling then. Your past clients do it for you, and you just, drop in. So it's something I would consider looking at.
Yeah, definitely consider it. And actually, we talk about the phrase of becoming like a Lunaire lady in terms of like joining that membership in that program. So actually, something needs to fit to that, doesn't it? And like you say, it's keeping that community open.
Yeah.
Okay. Food for thought. I like that one. Food for thought.
That's right.
I like that one.
I was hoping you'd say no, it's forever, and then when you didn't, I was like, oh no.
I'll know to lie next time. Tell you the right answer.
No, it's good. At least you're honest. Can we go on to your paid ads?
Yes.
So these are brand new.
Brand new, as of yesterday.
So how much are you spending per day on these ads? Do you know what your daily limit is?
I was just about to do a mental sum. The budget is £300 a month. So whatever that works out to per day.
Oh, wow. Okay. There's
7 or so.
Okay.
7.
Okay, so the first thing is, before I even go into it, you're running way too many ads at £300 a month.
Okay, that's good to know.
Like huge amounts. Like I would probably only have one going. This is way too much because you're at £10 a day.
Yeah.
So to give you an example, how many are there? 1, 2, 7? So it's at £10 a day. You're asking Meta to send out 7 ads. That's £1.50-ish.
Which is nothing.
Which won't even get you to 1,000 impressions based on the CPM of.
Interesting.
I
wonder why they've done that then. I'll ask the question. I'll ask the question.
Yeah, I would be. So that'd be the first thing. If that is your budget, I'd be running 1 ad.
Okay.
And just testing it. Maybe a DPO, different creative. Maybe a CBO campaign, but I would not be running 7 different video ads at 110 quid a day. Absolutely no chance.
I am really glad that today's the day we decided to do this.
Before you spent loads.
Before we get like a month down the line.
Yeah, it's a lot. And again, you can do the maths. The other thing, obviously, I can't see in terms of what your optimization is. So that's what we're asking Meta to do. So there's different ways you can ask for awareness. You can ask for clicks. You can ask it for sales. The only ad you should be running for is sales and conversion.
Okay.
Do not optimize for anything else.
Okay.
Because
why is that?
Because Meta will do exactly what you're asking it to for awareness.
Right.
You don't want awareness.
No.
You want people to click on this and fill in your landing page.
Yeah.
So you want action. If you say Meta, I want clicks, it will get you clicks.
Yeah.
Pointless. You're a small business.
Yeah.
You've got to be very conscious with money.
Yeah, definitely.
You're not EasyJet that says, do me a load of brand awareness.
No.
So you need to be very, very careful when it comes to this. Something else I also noticed is, Mike, if you can just hover over this one here. Yeah, so you've got Audience Network on. So what that'll do is that will send your ad out outside of Meta. So it might be in-app games, it might be whatever it may be. I would, for what you're doing, I'm not a massive fan for audience network across the board. Some campaigns it does work on. If this is your first day, I wouldn't, because the problem is you'll get more clicks and awareness and CPM by using audience network.
Okay.
The problem is if someone's on a game, whether it's Clash of whatever that game is that always
Titans.
comes up. There you go.
Not that I play it, but I do know that one.
It'll come up during the adverts on that.
No one's going to come off the game to do that.
Okay, well, you've already told me that. So there you go. So I would turn audience network off.
Okay.
In the early stage, it can, like, ours is on for our podcast, but we get, the reason for that is ours is actually more awareness for one of our podcasts because it's re-engaging people that have already come onto our website. Okay. So I just want to follow them everywhere.
Yeah.
You're trying to get someone to
action something.
To do something.
Yeah.
So I would test that. In terms of the actual ads themselves, obviously I'm on my laptop here. There's lots of different content here. I don't know if I would read all that text on an ad.
Yeah, I think I'm the same.
Okay, good. Okay, brilliant. So I don't need to say anything there.
No.
If you scroll to the right, I also don't think these are very good hooks. They're not very hooky, are they? Do you agree? Like, transform your personal well-being. Is that great?
No, I didn't actually read. It's only when you read that out, I was like, where is that? No, it's at the bottom, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't think that tells
it doesn't.
what you do.
No, that sounds like the generic health and well-being line.
Yeah. I can tell you now that ChatGPT has been used because they've got between the well-being and the which is fine. But
and do you know what? I had to have a quick look at the content and kind of give some guidance and things. And when I first read it, I immediately was like, it's all ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So there was some previewing, but clearly not enough because I didn't realise that was on there.
No. There's a lot of text. I don't, based on speaking to you now, this doesn't scream what you do. Yeah. And I don't think this sort of portrays what you and your brand are trying to achieve, personally.
Okay.
Because, again, transforming well-being is absolutely not. You are, but, in terms of that line, it's just not good enough.
No.
Some of the imagery, can I be really honest?
Go for it. Nonsense.
You could probably get away with nonsense. The video, scroll down. These ones are fine. But those two and that one, utter nonsense. They're not going to engage anyone at all. Really bad. Sorry. If I was doing it, I'd be broken right now. But seeing as it wasn't actually my personal handiwork, you just but it's your brand. This is your business.
Yeah.
This is and the problem is marketing agencies get a bad rap. Yeah, and there's some really good ones out there. There's some really bad ones. There's some people in the middle that maybe are too busy or whatever. I get it. I'm all the way. I get it. But you're a small business with limited funds, and you've got 7 ads running daily at £10 budget a day, and you're in a month's time going to go, where's my 300 quid gone, plus what I'm paying you if it is, or whatever it is. And they're going to go, well, these are all your impressions, and you're going to go, okay, well, that's amazing, but how many leads have I got? And they're going to go 0.
Yeah. And that's not what you want.
No, it's not.
And it wasn't, you're right, it wasn't a decision taken lightly at all to do paid ads, because I'm not in that world. Obviously like yourselves, but from the little that I've heard or discussed with other people or other small businesses or people that have done it, it's a very mixed response. It's a very kind of it's a grey area. So it's
because of this.
Yeah.
This is why. Yeah. I get so irritated with you, probably tell my tone now, is because you've entrusted someone to do this, and I'm not saying they've done a bad job, but they're not going to get you the results that you deserve and you need to be able to keep running and funding this business.
Yeah.
So it's not advantageous for the agency, and it's also not advantageous for you. The problem is you're the one that's going to hook the bill for it.
Yeah.
Which isn't fair, and it really winds me up. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
I would look at this, and I unless they've got budget from and paying it for themselves, I would just really align with 1 ad a day. Because this is utter madness.
So potentially go home, pause them all, and then actually work on one that's going to be.
Well, my question is, are you happy with this going out?
Well, with your expert eye and the way that the thing is, the way this conversation's gone, and you've described to me, and you've actually helped me to understand the detail of it, because I'm not in the world, I don't speak the language, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with you because I
Perfect.
can understand it. So before this conversation, I was like, it's day 2. See what happens. Like they've told me they know what they're doing. Now I'm thinking, no, because you're right, it is my business, and everything that goes out is a reflection of me, and it needs to be a certain standard, doesn't
Something else to also be very careful of, and this is where paid ads won't work for everyone, not because they can't, it's because of budgets.
Yeah.
So you're at £10 a day, over £300 a month, which is great. Your Facebook is very, very clever in knowing what your price is. So they'll look at your landing page, which we'll go on to. Who built your landing page?
Me.
Okay, you've made a massive boo-boo in it.
Oh, cool. Okay, good.
Sorry. Which is the other reason why I'd paused them, because this we'll go on to that.
I'm glad you started the podcast off softly, and we've just kind of built up into being totally brutally honest.
It's not. It's I don't want you to fail, and I don't want you to
I
leave in a
appreciate
year's
that.
time and go, "Oh, Facebook didn't work for me." It's not that it can't.
Just wasn't doing it right.
That's all it is, and it's not Facebook. There's so many big, amazing brands that are now big because they've done it right in the first place.
Yeah.
They've just not made the mistakes, or they've entrusted it with someone, and they've not had the best intentions, or whatever it is. It's just really annoying. So, where was I? I've gone off a massive tangent.
Landing page.
No, I wasn't. It was before that. So when it comes to your budget, Facebook knows how much you're charging, okay? So it will scan your landing page.
Right.
So when you click on this button, on any of those book now button, it will go through to your landing page.
Yeah.
Facebook and all these platforms will scan it all. So they know how much you're trying to charge for this product.
Right.
So they know that you're trying to charge £75.
Yeah.
What they will then do is go, all right, how much are we going to charge Alex? And obviously, this is just the supercomputer going, how much are we going to charge Alex for £75, a £75 client? Now, at the moment,
a lot.
we don't know. We have no idea. Sometimes it's cheap. Sometimes it goes into, are you engaging the audience? What we spoke about earlier. Is she playing the game with the organic? Yes, she is. Okay, great. And they'll start ticking off all these little things, obviously, in the back end.
Yeah.
And you'll get to a point where Facebook will say, right, I'm going to charge Alex £65 for a client. Let's £60 for a lead.
Okay.
Well, that means you're not going to get a lead then for 6 days, because if you average £10 a day, 6 days it's going to take. So you're then going to say to your agency in 4 days, where's my leads? They don't have enough data at the moment. We don't yet know that it's £60 a lead.
Yeah.
Once you know what that price is, you can then say, well, if it's £60 a lead, I'm going to get 5 a month. But I'm only at break even, unless my sales ladder is to then upsell them onto the course. But if you don't have the data in terms of 20% that come into that group session, then go into my one-to-one coaching, how profitable is this? And that's where you have to be very, very coy on the numbers and start going, okay, well, how much can I actually spend to acquire a customer?
Yeah.
Obviously, you at the moment, that £75 is just your time, which is great. Obviously, if you had like people in the business that you were paying for wage-wise, you'd go, well, 20 quid an hour, you need to start working it out.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's just your time, which is great. So you can be a little bit coy in terms of what you can spend.
Yeah.
But just be conscious is that once you know what your cost per lead is, that's what your cost is.
Yeah.
Unless something dramatically changes, that's just what it is. It will never change.
Okay.
So we run the ads. Do you know Emma's Diary? Do you know those guys?
No,
so they're a publication for women that are expecting children. So they're huge. They'll spend a year with my old agency about 700 grand a year on paid ads media. I know what they employed us to get them email addresses for people that were in the first, second or third trimester.
Okay.
And we know what the lead cost was, what the email cost, every single, and it did not change for 4 or 5 years. It is what it is, and that's the cost. There's no way of getting around it.
Yeah.
The Facebook algorithm has said, that's your cost, done.
End of.
So Facebook, we say to Emma's Diary, that's your cost. Every year, if you give us this amount of money, it will give you this many leads.
Yeah.
And they're still a client of the agency now. And I was actually, the finance person that does both businesses. And I asked about Emma's Diary actually, and she went, yeah, it is what it is. So once you know what your cost per lead is, it is what it is.
Way. Okay.
Which is why when I said about going back to the community aspect, if you've got people coming into that community, that's a free sales pitch every time.
Yeah.
Rather than closing it off after 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Because this can work the paid side. It'll take some time. It'll take some budget. And it'll take a lot of jiggery pokery to get it working.
Yeah.
So
The time doesn't surprise me. So that's not a shock. That's that one.
You can do it quicker if you've got loads of money. That's the issue, you see. That's the annoying thing.
I mean, now that you tell me that, simple.
Just run it.
just chuck money at it. Why didn't I think of that before? Honestly.
So, but it takes time. It does take time. Now, you at the moment send them to a landing page.
Yeah.
So if you click on the landing page, Michael.
Oh God, I'm almost like, don't.
Can I click on it from this?
Yeah, just click that now. That top image just has. Is that supposed to be like that?
I'm afraid to give the answer. Yeah, probably. Yeah, fine. Yeah, yes.
Okay, so on mobile again, so it all needs to be mobile first. I think you put this on your laptop, didn't you? I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah. Do it as mobile first, because obviously the vast majority of your, especially if you're doing it across social. So I would, depending on what platform you're using, do it on mobile first and try it like that.
Okay.
Because it's fine on laptop, but you can't see you and you're the product.
Yeah.
You can just see you sort of writing away.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's a ridiculous photo to have on.
It doesn't really say. It doesn't scream what you do either.
No.
Unless you read that little.
And I've got lots of very nice ones thanks to Anna from Fans Photography, who's a big part of Mill Street. So she'd probably kill me for using that one photograph.
Well, you've probably got the full photo. You've just chopped it off.
No, I think that actually is just one of the photos.
Okay, well,
she did give me an array. Like there's a plenty with my face in it. There's loads, so there's no excuse for that particular photo being there.
So that I would change. Also, if you click on, I don't know what's happened there. If you click on the button that says left, that the one there. Look.
I didn't see that.
Oh, I did.
I didn't even. Oh, I do know what that goes back to.
Like the link trays.
Yeah. I'd remove that. So what a landing page, you need to basically, they can't click anywhere. All they want to do is two things. Take the action or go away.
Because otherwise people get distracted by other stuff.
And click stuff around.
I didn't even occur to me. Fine, okay. I don't know how I'd get that button away, but I'll go have a little research.
Something I would also test, and again, with £10 a day, you're limited what you're able to achieve. I would... So... Again, if we look at how we play the algorithm, which is keeping users engaged on the platform, what Facebook and these other platforms prefer is to use their own in-app forms.
Yes.
Now, you can't, because they don't obviously have a payment, they can't and obviously then go and purchase.
Yeah.
But I would maybe look at that sales ladder again and look at, if we're promoting, let's say, the community, so rather than trying to get people booked in for a call, is it worth that £10 getting £1 to get someone into my community, and then one of those 10% conversion then becomes an actual client in the group course? Well, that means your CPA is £10, not 75 or 80 what Facebook is going to charge us. So it's a different way of using the algorithm, playing the game.
Yeah.
But again, this is all testing. Obviously, go away and have a ponder. But I think sending people just this page and asking them to basically put in all their details and obviously get charged 75 quid, I think you're asking a lot.
Okay. So potentially a landing page to join a free community? Or?
I would, yeah. I think so. I would.
And then engage with people within that community.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. And it's not something I thought about.
Speak to like-minded women that are going through the same stuff that we are, and again, whether it's the Facebook group or something like School of that ilk, build that presence. You become then an authority in the space. It's easier to sell. It takes longer, of course it does, but asking someone from a Facebook ad to go to a landing page and literally pay 75 quid. Now, when was the last time you did that?
I couldn't tell you.
I haven't personally.
No.
So you're asking quite a bit.
Yeah.
But all that's going to happen is in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 2 months' time, you'll go, well, this didn't work. And I don't think it's not Facebook. It's just you're asking a hell of a lot. Did the agency go through this with you?
The brutally honest truth you've given me, no, because I don't think I'd be sat in this position hearing it.
Fine.
The conversations were there was honesty about the more budget you have, the easier life can be. There was conversations about it takes time. Do not expect things to be instantaneous or quick. And there were conversations about testing to see what works and what doesn't work.
So the testing I get, if you go back to the ads library, Michael, how on earth can you get data when you're only doing £1.20 per ad per day?
Yeah.
Like if you're optimizing for conversion, your CPM is probably going to be 20 quid. Well, it's 200 people. You can't get enough data. So I wouldn't start looking at ad until it's got about 5,000 impressions.
Okay.
So if you're doing 200 a day,
Yeah.
it's going to take quite a bit of time.
Wow. Yeah.
And even then, because it's over such a long, prolonged period,
Yeah.
what am I getting?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would be trying to skin this cat a different way.
Well, I'm not against changing it up, and I think the point we started with when it comes to paid ads, the whole fact that it is a small business, it is at the end of the day my money, the business's money that is facilitating this. So for the sake of potentially sometimes pride or embarrassment, it would be easy to leave and be like, yeah, that all sounds really good, and then just be a bit scared and think I can't face changing it all now. But that's not the wisest thing to do.
You're not going to get the desired result.
No, and it's just going to keep. What's the phrase? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting things to change.
Yeah.
Which I think probably sums up what you've just described.
Yeah, a little bit. I would, like I said, there's different ways to skin this. I would try and get them into. I would relook at your sales ladder from a social perspective. Get them into this community.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be cheaper to acquire customer into a free community than it is getting someone to spend 75 quid without knowing you on a credit card with one click.
Yeah.
Even the landing page doesn't scream
big ticket.
Yeah. And 75 quid is a lot of dough now, we're in a tough time economically. So I would look at that and tweak it up. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely tweak it. Sorry.
It's all right. Is that the hardest lesson I'm going to get from the teacher today, or is it getting worse now?
No.
My god. Okay.
It's
Tell you what, you're right. This room does get really hard. I don't know whether it's the room or whether it's just me.
I just want it to work for you, and this isn't. You're going to be spending a lot of money, and you'll look back and go, "Oh, $2,000's gone," and it's just it's pointless.
Were you saying only optimise for sales?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's what I wrote down. I was trying to check that I wrote that right.
Yeah. Depending on the ad account, every ad account is different because Meta is an absolute pain.
Yeah.
So it might still be conversion, depending on what iteration,
rather than like awareness.
Yeah, that's an absolute waste of time.
And that would still stand for changing it to join a community.
Yeah, because you still want Facebook to get someone to do action, not
the sale or conversion. In that case, is join the community.
Community.
Exactly that. So Emma's Diary, their email to get someone who's pregnant is about £1.30. So they then know how much they get, how many. So obviously for the amount they spend, they know how many they get. There's 500,000 births in the UK. They'll know on average how many they'll get based on the ads that we run for them. Really, really simple. But it's just doing those metrics.
Okay, so quick question. It might not be a quick answer, but if I was to ask you now, do I go home and pause all of these so I don't waste my money on 7 or whatever it is? What would your answer be?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't wait until I got home. It won't start feeding out till tonight anyway.
Just pause the interview. I just need to do a few quick things.
I would just pause them and just get some clarity.
Okay.
Clarity on it. Again, Michael will give you access to the crib sheet straight away, so you'll have access to some of the terminology if you want to. But I'm just very confused. At £10 a day, you're learning. There's just no data to learn from.
Okay.
At all. You can't learn from 200 CPM, 200 impressions. It's obscene.
If you were going to say pause all these ads, would any one of these specifically be the one to carry on with?
No, because the copy is not right. Transform your personal well-being.
With the content, with the video one, we haven't obviously watched it. Would the video one probably be better? Yeah,
I'd probably look at the video. I still think we need to look at, or you need to look at the landing page and the offer.
Yes.
The offer's asking a lot.
Yeah.
75 quid is a punchy figure for someone that you have no idea of from one ad.
Yeah.
You've done no warming up. There's no, it's not like you're retargeting people that have hit your website and gone, here's a really good offer. You've literally just gone, I'm totally cold to you. If I went out there today and said, look, can everyone give me 75 quid, come for a chat, I'd probably get told to jog on a few times.
Yeah, you would. So look at the offer first and foremost, but hypothetically speaking, once that's then been reviewed and potentially changed, video could be quite effective in that.
100%
array.
video. It's bizarre. Some statics work really well when it comes to conversion. So Huel are a good example, actually. Huel did an ad, a couple of paid ad a couple of years ago. And I think they've still got it running, actually. And it's a Huel bottle, and down the side they've cut it and it shows you what's in it. So it might be this much of barley.
Okay.
You would have seen it.
Yeah,
you would have definitely
yeah.
seen it. It's a brilliant static ad because it shows you everything you need to do. The problem with your stuff is you can't really do that.
It's not a product in like a physical form.
They're buying into you.
Yeah.
You're the product. So I think video is really powerful.
Yeah.
And I would be promoting that. Really.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Always apologise on these.
I'm just conscious if we've said pause all your ads and then you want to put them back on, we sort of need an idea of what to put back on.
Yeah, video content. You'll know what content works really well. In reality, you could repurpose that TikTok one. It's clearly gauged people's interest.
True. Yeah, very good point. I said that's a really good video, really informative. People are asking those questions. So if you want that question answered, this is then a community that you probably want to be part of to get more questions like that answered.
There you go. I don't even need to say anything.
Oh
There
my
you go.
God, thank God it's recorded. I'll play that back.
You know what you need to do. You're trying to build a community. You know the struggles that women are going through with this.
Yeah.
You've just got to get people involved. Unfortunately, we know that costs, but a good litmus test for paid is what's going on organically. So if you look at all your organic and go, which one worked the best? Okay, we know which one worked best. Why would we now not put paid behind it?
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
So I would reverse engineer that again and look at that and then repurpose and put it across paid.
Do you want to say anything about Playdate or not? I've got it all.
Just Michael, I'm coming to it, mate. Just calm down. He bullies me on here.
I find that hard to believe.
So I think we've nailed the paid side.
Yes.
And I'm
please move on.
apologising. In terms of paid, obviously the video I think is true. Something you could do is, Michael, have you got the
What do you
link?
think of, Jan?
Is you could create some really not weird, is that the right word? Interesting content. So
Okay.
this was a single parent dating app that we used to work with called Playdate.
These are genius. It took me a while to realise, and I was like, oh, okay.
They're very tongue-in-cheek.
They are.
They're very, if you go to the next slide, Michael.
Okay.
So, women are a lot more, what's the word now, empowered. Is that right? Would you say that's fair now? That, women like to talk a lot more about what's going on, especially with what you're trying to promote.
Yes.
Stuff like this, if you go back to 55, worked so well. So well. Because what we were doing was we were trying to attract women onto the app, not men. Obviously, men follow the women, so it's easier to acquire women than the men would follow.
Yeah.
But all of these were trying to empower women.
Right. Okay.
So especially on the sort of first one, it was 54, sorry, Michael. It was just, again, got it. It was funny. It was tongue-in-cheek. It might not be against, but when I was sort of read your application, I was like, actually, there could be some interest. But yeah, you could do some quirky stuff like that just to really stand out. Again, I just wanted to show you some sort of tongue-in-cheek stuff we used to do.
No, I like that. And actually, there is a very, like in a lot of difficult situations, sometimes you just have to laugh. And there are some very entertaining, funny, weird stories that bring a little lightness to the whole conversation.
Yeah. So yeah, you could do some stuff like that. And then lastly, podcasts. Have you got one?
Coming in March 2025.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the end of that. Where are you filming it?
22 Digital, Fargo Village in Coventry.
Yeah, I know, Lee.
Ah.
I was with him last week playing golf.
Oh, all right, show off. Name drop.
He'll be name dropping me, to be fair. He's a good lad, Lee.
I actually only really know Taylor. Haven't really.
Taylor's brilliant.
Taylor is lovely. Haven't
Yeah, he's
seen
a
much
good
of
guy.
Lee, but Taylor is fab.
Yeah, Taylor's done very well for himself. Very well.
Yeah.
Unlike us mere mortals. Okay, podcast. Obviously recording over there, which is great. Something like Opus, you could literally just put all your filming in there.
Yeah.
And Opus will just do all the clips for you. Everything entirely.
That'd be amazing.
Which again, in terms of that repurposing content.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you
This is
are...
the last episode of this for sort of reference. That's 39 clips from.
There you go, just does it all.
39 clips.
And it like ranks them by how good it thinks they are. It gives you a title, and it's got all the. This is the transcript of it, and you can edit all of that.
Does it all.
Where have you guys been? What have you been doing the past 2 years? Why weren't you here? Why weren't you around back in, a year ago?
Well, upstairs.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I didn't come to Mill Street quick enough. Maybe that's the question.
So yeah, use something like Opus because again, like Michael said, all you do is literally load it in.
Yeah.
I've not done it, to be fair. Michael does it, but like you said, then you've got 40 clips or whatever ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
And again, it's just that content flying out.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good.
Before we end, any more questions?
Any more questions?
One question only.
One question.
You can have two, by the way. You can have as many as you want.
Thanks. I'm just thinking about. I'm thinking about my to-do list, my homework when I get back from school. What I need to do. Pause the ads. Look at a scheduler and Opus.
Yeah, look at the scheduler. There's loads like there's Hootsuite, there's Buffer.
Yeah, Post Planner's good because it's quite affordable.
Yes,
Okay.
it's not silly money. Again, in terms of resource and time, the amount of time you would save.
Yeah.
Again, it's absolutely it would save you a ton.
Yeah. Okay, here's a question then.
Go
in
on.
terms of, we've talked about what to do more of, especially on socials, TikTok and Instagram and things. Again, it's that conversation that I've heard varying opinions of about like consistency. We know really important, and all the platforms like it. The question of like quantity and things like that. Is it just more is always better?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
So let's say you get let's say you do one piece of content today and you get 300 impressions.
Yeah.
You put 3 out and you get 300 on each.
Yeah.
Well, 900 is better than 300, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a numbers game.
I love it. I love these people that go, oh no, just put one a week but make it amazing. Utter nonsense. It still needs to be good. Of course it does. Like it can't be rubbish because the algorithm is clever enough to go, this is rubbish. No, it's not going to engage anyone. But as long as it's engaging, like I said, we put out 2 or 3 a day on one of our TikTok channels. Everyone will get 1,000.
Right.
Well, 4,000 or 3,000 better than 1,000.
Yeah.
It's simple maths. What is very powerful, and as you have more and more calls, and I don't know if you've got like a WhatsApp chat with clients and stuff, is that the second they have your number and that number is associated to your they'll see you everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So I get it all the time. Like my mates, like you and their other half, like you are on every channel I go on, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, like because obviously it follows the number. Yeah. And obviously once you're in their contact list, it'll just follow them. So yeah, if you have got that, again, being across all channels and being omnipresent is great, but you'll see even more the more calls you get as long as that that number is associated to the page. Okay, interesting. You don't have your work. You don't have a work number then. I've got one number. You're just a number, and you're just everywhere. It's just the same number that I've had for the last 20 years. No, everyone's got it then. Yeah. So literally, everyone's like, "Oh my God, you're such." But it's great because clients see all my stuff everywhere. My old clients, anyway. They even Mazda on Monday was like, Amy was like, "You're on TikTok." I'm like, "Are you on TikTok now, Amy?" She's like, "Oh yeah, shouldn't have let that one out." But no, it's good. So that'll be good, especially for what you're doing, because again, you're the product. Yeah. That's the most important thing with this is that you are the product. And being everywhere is going to really help that social proof, and people really believe and go, yeah, she's the right person to help me, obviously get this diagnosis and help me in my time of need. Yeah. I was going to say one thing, and it was just that your LinkedIn image seems like a weird. Why has it done that? That was all I saw. Okay, that's another thing to fix. We haven't touched your LinkedIn. I didn't really want to because your market is on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. I didn't want to talk about this too much because I just didn't think there was any value. I thought the biggest thing for you is obviously you're running paid ads. You're going to get conversions via those mediums, not through LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn exists and it will stay existing, but it's not. Yeah, you're right. It's not the Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Not in the same. No. Were you going to... Was something we said before, do you think this should be a picture of you? Or are you happy with it being a... No, it should be a picture. You're very on the ball today, aren't you? Oh, sitting in should be a picture, okay. Because it's called the Chronic Illness Coach, so it's... this is probably totally not... I might be on topic, I don't know. I'm having arguments with TikTok at the moment. I can't seem to speak to a person.
So because
Weird. You can't speak to a social media platform.
no,
That's really weird.
no, can't seem to speak to a human. Strangely enough, and it was because when we started the business, the chronic illness coach was the handle because you have a username and a nickname, don't you, on TikTok?
Yeah.
So happy for me to change the username, does not want me to change the nickname, and it's suggesting to go to a seller centre and all the rest of it. So it's got a bit complicated. I'm trying to fix it at the moment. I cannot change it, which is doing my head in because it just doesn't match at all.
Persist.
Okay.
I can't add any more value than that.
No.
Even the amount of money I spend on Meta, I didn't get any help.
No.
Oh, no one. Millions, not an issue.
They just hang up then.
Yeah, no, just like, I can't. Unfortunately, I literally can add no value to this conversation.
So you're going to say change that to probably...
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Because again, you're the product.
Yes.
Lunaire is not the product. You're the
No.
product. So I would change that to a probably a better image than your LinkedIn one.
Just add a smile afterwards. It just makes it all better.
Think that's fair?
Yeah. The LinkedIn and the TikTok video.
It's on the crib sheet.
Will
It's on the-
change.
It's on the crib sheet.
They'll
I'll be
change.
on. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I did. I definitely did.
And hopefully, you can go away, implement some of those, and keep us updated, especially from a pay perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love to. I will leave it on this.
Mm-hmm.
With the amount of money you're spending, my personal recommendation would be to run your own ads and learn.
Okay.
You're not spending enough money to use an agency.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
It's not advantageous for the agency, it's not advantageous for you. The other issue is that the agency, is going to say certain things to you, and because you're not never run an ad, you won't understand it. Not because you can't, it's just that it's totally alien to you. Like you'd have a conversation with me about something, I'd go, not a clue.
Yeah. There's a level of trust there which comes into the conversation we've just been having earlier about you breaking it all down.
Yeah. So I would learn the ads, because then when you are in a position where you've got a little bit more money to spend and you are in a position where an agency, being really candid, no agency should have took you on at £300 a month. It doesn't make any sense for them commercially. It makes no sense at all. I would learn how to run ads, and it's not superly complicated, especially what you're trying to do.
Okay.
I would learn it yourself.
Yeah.
And then when you're in a position, and there's loads of courses, there's loads of communities online, there's loads of free school communities where you can ask questions. Once they've set up and they're running, they don't need a lot of monitoring, because you're not spending thousands a day. It's only when you're spending thousands a day that you need that constant tweaking and optimization. You can leave an ad running at £10 a day for 10 days and no one needs to touch it because there's not enough data pulling through. I would learn it yourself,
Okay.
and then go back out to market.
Okay. I'll have a look at what free. I mean, I was going to ask you where do I learn it, but literally it's going to be everywhere, isn't it? Because everyone's going to tell you about it.
Yeah, I would go onto YouTube. There's there's tons of free courses. You can set up an ad in 10 minutes and you can do it yourself.
You got Dr. Nick?
Yeah, no. She doesn't need Dr. Nick.
No, I don't mean to go to him. I mean, like...
The school, no, I know.
He's got podcasts about it.
Yeah, there's loads of podcasts we'll put on the crib sheet someone wants to listen to, Dr. Nick. But I would be, in these early stages, learning it yourself. Because what you're not going to have then in the future is, again, it's down to trust. You've picked someone and gone, they're the right agency for me. Rather than do it on trust, do it on ability, because you know what you're talking about. Like if you sat down with 4 coaches and one of them was a rigger, you'd go, you have no idea about this market.
Yeah.
It's the same with an agency. And that's why so few people get it right when they go out to market, especially when it comes to marketing, because it's all a bit of fugazi. And they're just like, oh, that person seems really genuine. And they are. It's not that they're not, but you don't know.
Yeah.
So I would try and do it yourself.
Okay. Well, that is a great last point to end on. That's definitely food for thought. Thank you.
No, well, thank you for coming on, Alex, and keep in touch. And yeah, thank you very much.
No, thank you for having me.